just think of what that might be like. You're walking, maybe you're a kid, you're walking home from school, you hear the crunch of leaves under your feet. You're listening to the Tarzan soundtrack in German. This might be very specific to me, I don't know. All right. Lucy, keep that in the intro, that. YouTube, welcome back. We are here today to do something kind of cool. We are returning to our to the scene of the crime, our old haunt, Toki Pona, and we are going to be playing around with the historical linguistics of some future Toki Pona descendant. So we're going to be looking at sound change, we're going to be looking at grammaticalization and the development of new morphology, and we'll see where it takes us. All right, so YouTube, welcome, and let's go over to the side webcam. I have a little text that I've prepared, just a few sentences that we can use to sort of work on the sound changes. Let's see what we want this descendant language to be like. So the first thing that I want to do, my wish list for this descendant is I would like one non-concatenative, if I can spell it, morphology. That's my number one wish list. I think two would be agreement. I'd like to see some agreement morphology going on. And three, a different phonesthetic. So I think these are three cool goals that we can use to guide us over the next 2 hours. We have in the audience, in the chat today, we have some people who are proficient Toki Pona speakers, and this is going to be so essential because that does not describe me in the least. I'm an admirer, but I'm not a speaker. So we shall hope that they don't get too offended by any of the sound changes that we're going to do. But the thing is, it's kind of a tribute. So, okay, let's do this. How are we going to get non-concatenative morphology? The thing that I would like most is to have initial consonant mutation. Initial consonant mutation. This is kind of my favorite bit of morphology. This occurs when we have the initial consonant of a word changing in different grammatical contexts, and we can see sort of how that might occur. Let's take an example. Let's see where. Okay, so say we have a sound change that takes S and turns it into H in between vowels. So this is our sound change. And if we applied this sound change to our text, oops, that's not what we need. Okay, if we have, we apply that sound change to the text and consider that these sound changes can apply across word boundaries if we have things like clitics, which I think A could be construed as, then we might have soeli turning to hoeli here. So e hoeli tomo. But here, where soeli is not in a position with a vowel clitic right next to it, a vowel final clitic right next to it, it stays as soeli. All right, so that's step one. Step two, we have to remove the triggering condition. So say we have this proclitic A, which just deletes everywhere. Or let's say, I don't know. Say we lose the initial A in initial position. I think we'd want a better rule than that. We'd want something a bit more morphological, but whatever. For our purposes, that will work. So then we lose the A. And now the only way we can, and the only thing that's telling us that there used to be an A here is the fact that this is hoeli instead of soeli. So we get this alternation between soeli and hoeli, where soeli well, hoeli appears as direct object, and soeli appears elsewhere. So this is our this is how we evolve initial consonant mutation. And this is a phenomenon that has occurred in several different language families, not that many, but the most notable one that I think most people would have heard of is Celtic. All right. So I think that's a good start. So let's go through and apply this across the board. So we will have nasa go to naha. Oops. Here we have a nice boundary between this this adverbial and soeli, so there's no change. Here we have no s's. Oh no, we have suli here. And here's a question: do we consider this noun adjective phrase, this noun phrase, do we consider this to be a valid domain in which to apply this change? And I think it is. This is exactly what happened in the Celtic languages as well. So we get huli here. And what else do we get? Taho. Okay, great. So maybe I'll do a quick rearrange here, just so that's a bit easier to read, I think. Apologies. You know what I'll do? You can look at me while I do this, because this is kind of annoying to look at. And hopefully I will be slightly less annoying to look at. All right. Oops. My struggles are real. I don't know how these streamers who go on and they stream for hours and hours on end, and they're doing all these complicated games and everything. I don't know how they do it. I struggle with Google Sheets, but anyway, that's my life. All right. I believe Sindarin has consonant mutation because Sindarin is very Welsh influenced. I don't know about Quenya. I don't think it does. All right. Did I miss another tasso? I did. Thank you so much. Who said that? Max. And Echo. All right. So that's our first thing. And this only applies to A as the proclitic. It's not a general phonological rule. All right, so let's apply it further. So this is a proclitic here. So APP. We have to decide what to do with that. Are there any other A's? No. Okay, so this will get lost, this APP, but the question is, do we want something to happen to the P first? And I think we do. So now that we understand the general gist of this, let's blatantly steal the Celtic sound changes. So we have lenition of S to H in between vowels and of P to F in between vowels. And so basically what lenition is doing is moving everything away from being, so it moves, stops, it turns stops into fricatives, and it debuccalizes fricatives. So previously existing fricatives. So we have this S to H, where S loses its place of articulation in the mouth altogether and just goes to H. So this sound change is called debuccalization. What's interesting about the Celtic initial consonant mutation is that you can't really easily describe it as one single phonological process. It's one single morphophonological process that consists of several different phonological processes. Okay. So let's see what happens. So say we lose, P goes to F in between vowels. So let's see what we have. So this P is protected by the N, so that's good. It can stay. P to F, what else do we have? So we definitely are going to lose this P. Oops, this P. It's going to turn to an F. And the question is, are we going to lose the first one? I guess it depends on what we consider this li to attach to. If the li attaches to pifi or pp in the original, then we would. If the li attaches to the left, to this subject, then we wouldn't, because it would be, the subject and the verb are in different, let's just say, domains, phonological domains. All right. So I think based on, let's look up and we have a dictionary up here on the right, so we can look up some grammar. Between any subject except me alone or Sina alone and its verb. Also to introduce a new verb for the same subject. That sounds to me like it's attaching to the verb. So in that case, it will be a proclitic on pipi, and then we will have lififi. Okay, so then let's continue with our P to F fun. So mi, yo, e pipi, going to e fifi, and then we're losing the A. Kulupu, we're losing the P is leniting to an F. And here it's leniting to an F again. And here in tempo, it is protected by the nasal. Okay. Echo's saying there's still some unmutated soeli and keyboard mashing at the same time. Well, we have this soeli, which is not intervocalic. This S is not intervocalic because we have a boundary, a phrase boundary before it. So this will stay soeli. Similarly, this S in soeli will stay S because there is a phrase boundary before it, which is marked off by this comma. So I think that's all good. Okay. Welcome back, Quayne. No worries, Echo. Okay. So that's good. Now let's propagate some of these decisions we've made about the status of li. So li is a proclitic, so it's going to attach to yo, lio, and lilon. Great. What else do we have? Any more li's? Here we go. Li, li, li. All right, so let's... Did I miss anything? Chat will always tell me if I missed something, and that's why I love chat. All right. So do we have any more li's? No, I don't think so. But we have some more p's to take care of. Specifically this P. And let's look up, for those of us who are rusty, what this P means in this dictionary. This says, let's use it to divide a second noun group that describes a first noun group. So some sort of a genitive marker, or some kind of something like that anyway. Okay, so P. And the question is, what is that going to pattern with? Is that going to pattern with the second group or the first? I think it's going to pattern with the second, given that these pre-nominal markers seem to pattern with the noun following them. So we can draw our clitic boundary like this. And do we have any other P's to work on? No. So in this case, the P stays. All right. Okay, I see some really good ideas in the chat, and I think we're thinking along the same lines. But I'm going to go step by step, and we will return to nasals, letter critic, and Max, we will be leniting other stops intervocalically. So that's the next step. All right, so we have P, we have S done, and we can take this out. So then if we have P going, we should also have T going to th. So same environments, and K going to ch in the same environment. Okay, so let's, first of all, so now that we have these sound changes prepped, we have to make sure that we're not missing any other clitics or any other positions that would cause mutation. So I think ni as a demonstrative will criticize, and la will criticize as well. So ni is a demonstrative, and la is something like an adverbial or an adverbial marker or a topic marker, something like that. I don't know if there's a way of getting more details here. I think there is. Detailed mode, there we go. Right. Right, okay. So that's good. And what else do we have? I want to mark where we have our noun phrases. Yan mute lio hoeli tomo. So there will be constant mutation within these phrases, even though they're not clitic groups. Soeli tomo nasa mute. I think that's all one big noun phrase. Many unusual animal houses. And what else do we have? Soeli tomo. I think mi will count as a clitic because it is a possessive marker there. And okay, what else do we have? Mio e pipi lili pikulu pusuli. I think we have this as a noun phrase, pikulu pusuli, or in our descendant so far, pikulu fuhuli. And mio e pipi lili. E pipi. I think I'm missing a word there. Right, so we can put this together as a noun phrase as well. And in fact, these are nested. So this is all one big noun phrase, but we don't have to worry about that. Right, okay. Okay, Yantemili says, soeli tomo isn't an independent noun phrase there. It's marked by P, which means it's acting as a modifier. You can probably treat it the same as you preserve P in some way. Yeah. So I think it's really what it is this. We have this nested structure. But for the purposes of the mutation, we'll just look at it one phrase deep. Pipili, yeah, so Yantemili, it is one noun phrase, but it contains within it a second noun phrase. Yeah, sorry, there's a bit of a delay, so if I say something that you've already, you know what to expect. Okay, so then now that we've got that done, let's just finish this. Taso kulupu ona li lili lon tempo ni, so let's put ni with tempo, and let's put kulupu ona. This would be, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, would this translate to English as something like their communities? That's my question for those more knowledgeable. Chromatech, what are we doing to poor Toki Pona? We're applying the ravages of time. Okay. So the first thing we're doing is this lenition, which will give us initial consonant mutation. And then after that, there are many more things that we will do. Right. Okay, so then now let's go through and do our initial consonant mutation of, or our lenition of T to th. So we'll go through and we'll be very, very systematic about it. So tempo ni la yan muthe lio hoeli thomo. Taho soeli thomo naha muthe lilon. Mila, I think we need to criticize this la. Soeli thomo mi li fifi muthe. And then we have mio fifi lili pikulu fuhuli. No T's there to do. Taho kulufu ona lilili lon tempo ni. And the question is, well, this wouldn't mutate anyway because of the N, but would lon tempo ni form a phrase? But their communities, and then how do we, I glossed it as few. I'm not sure if that's the right gloss. Sorry, that's lon. Lon is exist. Tempo ni is time demonstrative. I'm missing something. But their communities, Few exist time. Yeah, I'm having trouble parsing this. Chat, help me out. Oh yeah, regarding the romanization, I'm just using IPA for now. We can make a nice romanization afterwards. Yeah, I missed tempo ni here, so that's one thing. What's the relationship between lili and lon? Lon is a preposition. Ah, okay, that's really great. So, but their communities are few at the current time. So that is going to be lon being used as a preposition. So we can either consider it a clitic or just consider it a phrase. Either way, it's going to be a valid domain for the application of mutation. However, in this case, there is no mutation yet. Okay. To shrink. Oh, interesting. So as the translation, but their communities are shrinking now. Maybe that would be a decent translation. Or are small now, or few. Obviously, the usual problems of translating into English are apparent. Okay. So, right. So we've done our T to th. Now we need to do our k to ch. So let's go, and hopefully I'll pick up a little bit of pace now that I've explained what we're doing. So just briefly looking to see if there are any k. Here we go. Pichulufu huli, rather. Taho kulufu ona li lon temponi. Okay, so that is our first round of consonant mutations. What else can we do? Using the magic of nasal stop clusters, we can introduce voiced consonants. So essentially, we have N. All right, I'll write this in a bit less less abbreviated way. NP to B, NT to D, NK to G. Right, okay. So let's see what happens now. And keep in mind that these do apply in the usual positions where we can get constant mutation phenomena. So this will give us a second kind of mutation. So tenponila will turn into tebonila. Yan muthe liyo hoelithomo. Taho soelithomo nahamuthe lilon. Mila soelithomo mi li fifi muthe. Mio fifi lili pi hulufuhuli. No opportunities yet. Taho kulufuona li lili lon tempo. So this is going to become lo debo ni. Lo debo ni. Right, so we have mutation of tebo to debo after lo. All right. Okay, so here we are. Now, I think we need to do something, just because we're using Celtic languages as our inspiration, I think we need to do something a little fun, which is M to V. Just to get the full effect. So, tempo ni la yan muthe liyo hoelithovo. Excellent. And here the M is protected by the N. Taho soelithovo nahavuthe rather lilon. Mila soelithovovi lififi muthe. And I'm assuming that this pause here is going to break the potential for mutation, but I could be convinced otherwise. All right. Mi yo fifi lili pi hulufu huli. Taho kulufu ona lilili lo debo ni. It's a thing of beauty. Okay. All right. Let's put in a quick break here now that we've done the bulk of our mutation forming sound changes, and we'll come back and we'll see what else happens. So YouTube, thank you for joining us once again. We have been evolving Toki Pona, so come back and we'll do it some more. We will see you then.